Sorry about that, folks. That was my bad. I think I got a little bit ahead of myself and I missed some very important steps. So, what we're going to do is pause for a moment and focus on the scan software. If you'll follow along with me here, we're going to clip on this thumbnail down here, Epson Scan. Let it load up. We're going to select the Epson Perfection V600. Bring up the menu. Once it decides to load up. And here we go. Okay, so we're going to dig through this top to bottom and cover all the important stuff that applies to what we're doing here. So, you got mode, you got name, you got these things right here. Don't apply to what we're doing, so we're just going to leave that be. Down here, we have our first thing that we want to take a look at. So, currently, we're set to 24-bit color. You'll notice that we have some other various options here, like 48-bit, color smooth, 16-bit, 8-bit, black and white, yada yada. These things right here don't apply to Laserdisc. That's more so paper material, manga magazines. Between these two things right here, 48-bit, 24-bit, we're going to stick with 24-bit. The only difference, as far as I know, 48-bit going to be slightly nicer looking, but it's going to be a lot more data and take longer to scan. And honestly, between the two, you can't really tell the difference, so we're just going to leave that. DPI. This is a big one. This is kind of a doozy. Pulling this up, you'll notice that we have a lot of options. You can go as low as 50, and you can go as high as 12,800, which I don't even know if that's humanly possible. Now, everyone is going to have their own personal opinion on this, but for me, and as far as what I feel works best, we're going to stick with 400. Because the lower you go, the faster it's going to be, but the worse it's going to look. And if you are going to go lower, I think your safest bet is 300. Now, if you want to go higher, 600 ain't that shabby. I've done a little bit of experimenting, and 600 does look nice, but it is more time consuming, and the file size is a little on the heftier side. Anything past that, like 800, 1200, like my computer basically shuts down, it starts puttering and slowing down, and it's frankly just not worth it. So we're going to keep to 400. Target size, all this stuff, don't really matter. That's for cropping, and we don't need to do that. Down here, you notice that we have some adjustments. I don't mess with it. Doesn't make a difference. Well, this right here, like contrast, that more so has to do with manga, grayscale, black and white, stuff like that. But we're doing color, so you can leave that be. Don't really matter. Same thing with all these options right here. These all have their peculiarities and things that they modify and change, but frankly, for what I'm doing, it doesn't really make a difference. So we're just going to leave that be. The only thing that does matter, however, is where we're going to save to. So right here, I got File Save Settings selected. I'm going to click on that, open it up. You have the option to choose the location for which you're going to save to. Right now, I have it set to Updated Scans folder. And the image format that you save as. So, pop this open. You got a bunch of options. Me personally, I like to save as TIFF. Highest option available, and we can manipulate it as we please later on. So we're going to do OK. And next we're going to go to Scan. It's going to pop up a very similar window to what we just saw. We're going to hit OK again. Hold. Let it do its thing. And there it goes. And voila! Alright, so that was only one piece of the puzzle. One nugget, 1/4 pie, one section. We still got 3 more left to go. So, if you'll follow along with me here, we're gonna pop the hood of that grill, and we're gonna take our scan here, and we're basically going to shift it to the left. So that this corner right here has a gap with this adjacent edge. And once again, we're going to make sure that it is saddled up against that wall right there. We're going to close the lid. And this time, we're going to hit this here button and let it do its thing. And bada bing, bada boom, there it goes. All right. So, with that, we are halfway there. That's 2 nuggets, 2 out of 4, and we are ready to move on. So, once again, we are going to pop the lid and rotate our laser disc. Only this time, we're going to flip it 180. And we're going to position it as so. Once again, this back edge right here, up against the wall. This right here, a little bit of a gap. We're going to close the lid. Hit that button again. Let it do its thing. Alright, with that, pop open the lid. This time we're going to shift it to the left. Butt it up against that wall right there. Make sure we have an open gap right here. Close the lid. Hit that button and let the engines ignite. And folks, just like that, I think we're ready to start stitching. Alright, well, where do we go from here? We have 4 individual pieces. 4 pieces of the puzzle. But do we have a way to take those parts and turn them into one complete image? Well, as it happens, we sure do. Follow along with me here and take a look at this. So, down here, we're going to click on this shortcut, pop open this application called Microsoft Ice, and we're going to let it load up. Give it a moment here. Now, I think it's easier that rather than explaining, I just go ahead and show you what this thing can do. So, I'm going to drag over our folder with the individual images right here. I'm going to highlight all 4 of them, and I'm going to drag them into this window. And if you watch for a moment, you'll notice that it's going to read the source images, do some thinking, some computing, and composite. And what do you know? Look at that. I think that's one complete image. Now, I would imagine that you're watching this and thinking, how the hell did that do that? What is this thing? Where did it come from? Who made it? And what else can it do? Well, let me tell you. So, I want to say back in the, 2000s, 2010s, Microsoft makes this amazing program called Microsoft Ice. At its core, it is software that is designed to take 2 or more images with shared properties, shared space, and combine them into one. Now, like all amazing things, and especially when it comes to Microsoft, unfortunately, this program does not exist. It is unfindable, and there is no legal way to download it. But thankfully, some people online took the original program and they've hidden it away and made it available to those that are diligent enough to seek it out. Now, I ain't going to tell you where you can find it. You can easily Google it and find it for yourself. But as far as stitching programs go, this is, by and large, the single best. I think maybe Photoshop has something maybe similar. I've never tried it for myself. But out of all the other various methods that I've tried, this is the best. So, with that out of the way, let's take a closer look and dive on in. So, in the middle here, we have our image. And down below we have some editing options. So to the left here we have camera motion, and that is very important, but we're gonna hold off on delving into that. Next to it we have crop. I'm not gonna worry about that. We're gonna do that later with a different means, so we're gonna leave that be. Our export function. So right now you'll notice that we have it set to JPEG. Well, we're gonna pop that open, and we have some various things that we can choose from. But me personally, I'm gonna save it as a PNG. So we're gonna do that. The rest of this here don't really matter. Doesn't apply to what we're doing. So going back to camera motion, and this is a little bit tricky. So right now you'll notice that we're set to planar motion 3. When we pop that open, we have some options. We have motions 1, 2, and 3, rotated motion, and automatic. So bear with me for a moment as I try to explain this. So anytime that you load images into this program, it's automatically going to default to automatic. And it's going to analyze what you got and choose a motion that it believes is best. And in the case of 4 or more images, I would say at least 99% of the time, it's going to choose planar motion 3. Now, that can be good, but at the same time, it can also be bad. And the reason that I say that is motion 3 likes to take your images and tilt them. It will give you a diagonal image, and there's gonna be some weird areas that don't line up that might be like caved in. And as far as editing and making a nice clean overall image, it's not really the ideal option. So what I like to do, and I personally recommend this, is rather than motion 3, go to motion 1. And you'll notice that right here, it's going to rethink and compute. And this right here, it may not seem obvious at first, but it's different. And what motion 1 has provided us is a straighter, more lined up, more square composition. And as far as editing and the overall final image, that is far more suitable to what we want to work with. So, with that out of the way, we're gonna go to the far right here to export. Gonna click on that. And we're gonna go to update scan folder. And we're gonna hit save. Let it do its thing. Give it a moment. And there you have it. All right. So, with that image stitched together, next thing we need to do is take a closer look, crop it, edit it, and clean it up. So, let's take a look here. Enlarge this, and so there is our image. If we rotate it into place, that looks pretty good. But if we look a little bit closer, there's going to be some issues. So like right here in the top left corner, you'll notice that right here and right there, it didn't quite line up. And unfortunately, as amazing as Microsoft Ice is, it's not perfect. And when you're working with so many various crooked parts, you're gonna have some discrepancies. But it's alright. It's not the end of the world. Because later on we're going to do a little bit of editing, rearranging, and cleanup, and we'll get this sorted out. But for now, what we're gonna do is crop it and close in on it like so. Yeah, right there, right there, right about here. And right there. We're gonna save that. Let it do its thing. And there it goes. Okay, so next thing we need to do, and I hope you'll bear with me because this is where it gets a little bit in-depth and tricky. We're going to need to edit it, and we're going to need editing software. So, me personally, I like to use Clip Studio Paint. I'm cheap, I'm an artist, it's what I have available. There's plenty of other applications out there, most notably Photoshop, which I refuse to use, and that's whatever. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of everything that you need to edit in the way that I do. But anywho, let's just go ahead and dive right in. So, we're going to pull up Clip Studio Paint. We're going to take our image, drop it in, let it load. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So, most handy tool, the magic wand, the lasso tool, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take this section right here that didn't quite line up, and I'm going to copy and paste it, like so. Then, I'm going to drop it down with my new copy section. I'm going to line it up. And then, I'm going to take what's known as the copy stamp, a tool that allows you to select a specified area and copy it and then paste it. Hence the name, the copy stamp. So, we're gonna take this and we're going to rearrange it as so. And you'll notice that instead of having a broken line, we now have an even line. Let's see here. Anything else? Nope, that came out pretty good. Okay. And you'll notice that we also have this area right here. So, same as before, we're going to highlight a section like such. We're going to copy it, paste it, and then we're going to move it into place. Once again, copy stamp, and do that. Very nice. So, moving along. The copy stamp is incredibly useful. Aside from rearranging stuff like you just saw there, you can also use it to clean up areas like right here where you have these weird lines and whatnot. Make it look nice and pretty. Continuing on the way down, we're going to see if there's anything else that didn't line up here. Not too shabby. Oh. And looks like we have a small area right here. So we're gonna take our selection tool and we're gonna highlight this area here, copy paste, and we're gonna shift it up just a hair. And then we're gonna clean it up. Voila. Alright. Not too shabby. Ooh. Actually, no, it's fine. We're gonna move up. Have a tiny area right here. So, once again, do this. Copy and paste. Voila, I think that more or less did it. Now, of course, while I think most everything is aligned and in place, you'll notice that there's plenty of other various things that are sticking out. Like right here we have this character's hat, we have this line going down the center of it. We have all kinds of dust and weird defects, and that's unfortunately just a part of Laserdisc being old and not always kept in the greatest of conditions. So, I'm not going to bore you to death by cleaning up every minuscule issue. I can do that later off camera. I think you got the gist of what goes into editing. So, as you saw right there, most magical tools at your disposal, the lasso tool and the copy stamp. So, with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and save it. Let it do its thing. And voila! There we have it. So, that's one fully completed image. That was the front. But if you recall, we also have the backside, and we also have that insert that we've yet to get to. So, let's take a break for a moment, and we'll get back to it.